Transformational generative grammar. The next type of grammar that is in line is transformational grammar. Previously, we have discussed structural grammar, and now let's talk about transformational grammar. It is an approach to the use of grammar in communications that involves a logical and analytical process to fully grasp the meaning behind the words selected. That is, the words selected for any piece of communication. So here in transformational grammar, the main focus is to grasp the meaning of the words. From this perspective, we can say that it is contrary to structural grammar, or it is in contrast with the notions of structural grammar, which tends to focus on the proper construction of sentences and use this proper construction of sentences as the device for communication. Along with sentence structure, grammar also attempt to explore the thought behind the words. Transformational grammar, or TG, attempts to apply logic to the task of looking into the deeper meanings of the structure of sentences and to analyze both the surface and the underlying intent of the words used. Thus, TG employs more than just a visual approach to the words that make up the sentences. Syntax and context, these are the two things which play an important role in the logical process of transformational grammar. Therefore, to a degree, this type of grammar calls upon most of the tools of linguistics in an attempt to fully analyze the spoken or the written word. Noam Chomsky is one of the main proponents of this idea of transformational grammar. During the middle of 20th century, Chomsky worked to develop a logical approach to analyzing the syntax of structural grammar within the setting of English language. He developed and promoted the concept of grammar as being a broader theory rather than simply defining a method for developing the structure of sentences. That was the case in structural grammar. This approach has been inherent for centuries in the broader concepts of universal grammar, but Chomsky's work has highlighted it to the extent that many linguists and grammarians began to understand transformational grammar as a discipline all of its own. This concept is best explained by this concept means the concept of transformational generative grammar can be best explained by considering the meanings of its two key words, that is transformational and generative. So what does transformational means? Transformational is actually an adjectival derivation from the noun transformation. And transformation in its literal sense or in its literal meaning refers to a device or a process of changing the form of one linguistic structure to another. For instance, active sentence can be changed to a passive sentence, while a simple declarative can be changed into a question through the use of transformation. Coming on to the explanation or description of the word generative. Generative, on the other hand, is an adjective formed from the verb generate. Transformational was a transformation from the noun transformation, and generative is from the verb generate. According to Tomori, generate in this sense does not mean to produce, it means to describe. For example, when it is said that a rule generates a sentence, according to transformational grammar, it means a particular rule or a set of rules describe how a particular linguistic element or string is formed. A particular linguistic element or string means sentence, how a sentence is formed. Combining the explanations on the above two keywords, therefore, Transformational generative grammar implies the type of grammar that seeks to explain the rules governing structural changes and the formation of utterances. So this is the line to be focused on, that it seeks to explain the rules governing structural changes and rules that underlie behind the structural changes taking place at word level, phrase level, or sentence level, and how different utterances can be transformed. Transformational generative grammar is an attempt to make explicit that knowledge which is implicit in the native speaker of any language. So this is how we can conclude transformational generative grammar.